Hello, hello. Happy Monday night. I appreciate everyone indulging me last week and allowing me to take the week off. Kind of interesting that our topic this week is on being busy. So it should be interesting to have this discussion in light of that. After kind of preparing for this, I'm really excited. I'm going to turn it around now so you all can see my smiling face. Hello. Hi, Rosemary. Thank you for coming. Oh, hope you had a good weekend. I don't know if you saw or not on Facebook, but mine was great. I was just so happy. So happy to relax, and I really only did things that made me happy, and I haven't done that in a really long time. So, I know you're looking forward, Rosemary, looking forward to camping. That's what makes you happy. That won't be too long. Won't be too long for camping season. Oh, I think I'm gonna go ahead. If you want to invite a few people, please go ahead and do that. While we're waiting a few minutes. I know there are a couple people that I normally would invite that I know are kind of have things going on right now, so. But anyway, so we'll invite those. All right. Oh, I hear coffee grinding in the background. I like that sound. You know me. If it involves being prepared for coffee in the morning, I'm all for it. Oh, okay. And so like I always say, feel free to, give any reactions to anything that we're talking about. And if there's anyone that you think might need to hear this topic tonight, please feel free to share it with them either now or after the broadcast. And we'll wait another minute or so. Let's see, it's saying, want to know who's watching. Swipe left. I'm always afraid to do anything. Always afraid I'll cut myself off. Oh, hold on. I'm going to invite one or two more people that I know said they were interested in hearing this tonight. Oh, let's see. That I already sent that. Okay. Hi, Jill. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for tuning in. Jill, I know you've got your hands full. Maybe this will help you. I don't know. This is like one more thing for you to do after we just got off the phone. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started because I am busy tonight. I have something that I need to do after the broadcast. So we'll go ahead and get started. I was doing some research on this. I hear so often whenever I talk about, oh, hi, tell her I said hi. Talking about what are you waiting for? Because, I went a lot of years where I didn't pursue my dream. And I know a lot of us, when we were in Florida on our dream retreat, realized that we had dreams that we had never pursued. We had dreams that we'd forgotten about. We discovered that some dreams that we didn't really know we had necessarily. But also, whenever I offer people an opportunity to join my business or encourage them to pursue, their own dreams, whatever they might be, the most common thing, probably 99% of the time, is that people say, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I already have too much to do. And I've really been thinking about this a lot because um, when I was working my extra job, even when I had cut back to 2 days a week, I really was busy and I really didn't have any time to just relax and just, be in the moment. I still felt like I had to fit a lot of stuff in. So, one of the statistics that I found in my typical research fashion was that in a day we have 1,440 minutes. That's a lot of minutes. Even if you think for 8 hours or 6 or 4, however many hours of sleep we get, that's a lot of minutes that we should be able to fit in the things that are really important to us. Um, a week or 7 days has 168 hours. The other statistic that I just kind of blew me away is that if we assume an average lifespan of 75 years, which a lot of people, I mean, we have a lot of relatives, I know a lot of people who are even 10 years older than that, that translates into 28,000 days. So that seems like a lot, but at the same time, it's not that many. It's really not in the just big scheme of things, 28,000 days. And if we break it down into everything that we want to accomplish in our lifetime and how many days each of those things are going to take, I mean, it's kind of staggering. It would be hard to imagine. Yeah, I agree. Sleep's overrated. It's kind of hard to imagine that we would be able to get everything done. Especially as we age, a lot of times, we can't do as much anyway. We have physical limitations or mental limitations or whatever. Another staggering statistic is that the average person throughout their lifetime spends 5 years waiting in line, and roughly 6 months of that is waiting at traffic lights. OMG. That is crazy. And a lot of people wait a lot longer than that depending on how far your commute is. So that only gives us 319 months, 2 weeks, 4 days, and 12 hours left to live after we're done waiting for things. So, it's no wonder we feel like we don't have time to fit anything else in. If we're doing all this waiting and everything, it takes up a lot of our time. But we also spend an average of 2.8 hours per day watching TV. And yeah, I bet you don't miss traffic, Rosemary. So at 2.8 hours per day, living 75 years, that's 9 years of television. 9 years. That's criminal, no matter how good the TV shows are. So that's one immediate thing that came to mind when I saw that statistic of how people can get more time. But then I got to thinking back years ago when my kids were younger and, they were both at home and had a lot of activities and things. I felt like we were really, really super busy. And I also remember at some points feeling almost breathless and overwhelmed with the busyness. And I kind of had a little bit of a wake-up call when I was researching this topic. And one of the things that they talked about is what's the meaning behind busy. And it was a little bit tough to think about. But what the author of this article says is that when we go on to other people or to ourselves about being so busy, we're really engaging in double speak. What do we actually mean when we're saying we're too busy? Maybe that busy means that I'm needed and significant in this great big universe. So maybe we commit to so many things. We volunteer at the kids' school, we volunteer at church, we work a job, we help out our neighbor, We do everything for everybody else. And maybe if we really stop to think about it, it's because we want to feel like we matter, and we want to feel like we matter to other people. And that was really kind of a wake-up call to me, like I said. And I think it's probably true for a lot of us, and it's not, I'm not being critical or anything. I'm saying we get caught up in it and we don't think about it. But I can look back for myself and say that that was probably true, that I wanted to feel like I was making a difference. Not so much that I mattered, but probably also that I mattered. Can also mean that we might be afraid of missing out on something, you know. If we think we don't matter, if we don't show up, maybe nobody will care. Or maybe we feel like nobody else will do it if we don't show up to do it. So we kind of take on a sense of self-importance. And again, it's human nature. I'm not being critical. I'm not, beating myself up about it. It's just something that's right, FOMO. It's just something that I think is worth our time and consideration when we do stop to think about it, that maybe we can kind of shift the focus a little bit to the, what's really valuable in our lives. And we also, we might feel guilty that we're not doing enough because maybe other people are doing so much. And, it's not all our fault because a lot of people, society now, it's almost like we worship busyness. Multitasking is the way to go, and you can, run your life from your phone while you're watching TV, while you're picking up dinner, while, whatever. And, it's like more is better, more is better. And multitasking is the only way to go. And I think that our quality of life suffers when we get so busy that we don't have time to catch our breath and spend that time and that thought and that energy in ways that are really meaningful for us. So some things, that we can think about is, if we need to kind of wean ourselves, kind of monitor ourselves on what we're spending time on, is we can track what we're doing. What are the activities that we're doing? And are those things that are important based on the important things in our lives? If we say, we're a stay-at-home mom because we want to influence our children the way that we want them to be influenced, but we're so darn busy all the time. We're on the phone, we're running here, we're running there. Are we really providing the kind of life that we want for ourselves and for them? So there are a couple of online trackers, and I'll post the links in the comments at the end here, where we can track, what we did, what did we get done, what did we pay attention to today. And I haven't checked them out yet, so I'm going to be interested to see. And this was like, whoa, I had to really stop on this one, where a way that we can catch ourselves about that busyness and about how we're prioritizing what we're doing is to change our language. Instead of saying to someone, I don't have time, try saying, it's not a priority. So if your spouse wants to go to a movie with you, instead of saying, I don't have time, what if you substituted, it's not a priority? That wouldn't go over very well. And I think it would make me stop short and think, wait a minute. I need to think about what I'm saying to myself. I'm a big proponent of the law of attraction. And thoughts do become things. So if we have thought ourselves into this busyness and this vicious cycle, we need to change the language that we're using. We need to change self-talk. And we need to change the way we think about the things that are going on in our lives. It's one thing to say, I don't have time to iron the sheets. It's okay to say, it's not a priority that I iron the sheets. But it is a priority if you say, I'm not going to edit your resume because it's not a priority, or I'm not going to go to the doctor because my health is not a priority. That kind of changes the whole tone of the conversation that we have with ourselves and that we have with the world. So I just thought that was a really fascinating way to kind of check myself. And I thought that would be helpful for others too. You know, we need to be more joyful, and we need to be more present in the moment. And I say we, including myself, we need to just stop every once in a while and just unplug and, you know, reevaluate the things that are really important to us. And, you know, the church is going to survive if we don't show up for 5 committee meetings, and the PTA is going to survive if we don't. Yeah, Joe, I've never ironed a sheet in my life. You know, if we don't make that extra dozen cupcakes for whatever day, somebody's going to do it. That's y'all are so funny. Oh, you're so funny. Yeah, I barely iron at all. So, I mean, what do you all think about that? Does it make sense to you to change the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we think about how we prioritize our time? Yeah, Rosemary, take time to breathe. What if you switched out "I'm too busy" to say it's not a priority? Are there some things that you would give up so that you could do the important things? I mean, maybe it's as simple as giving up a TV show. Maybe it's as simple as just being consciously present in the moment. Maybe it's as simple as deciding that your health is important enough that you do need to go to the doctor, even if it's just for a physical, even if you're not having health problems, because you are important to the people in your life and not in the self-important kind of weight of the world on my shoulders kind of way that I think we can get wrapped up in all too often. So what ideas do you all have? I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think it's possible that that it's okay to say no? Yeah. I think it's too easy to get wrapped up. And, you know, I mean, like I said, society today is all about you have to, you know, you can have it all. You can have everything. And you can't. You have to decide what are the important things in your life. And those are the things that, you know, you have to give your time and energy to. Yeah, and that's the other trick, is not feeling bad that you're letting someone down. You know, I think when you're making that change, or even if, you know, if you've always been good about that, it's all right to say, you know, I really have been feeling that I've been neglecting some of the important people and important things in my life, and I'm just going to take a step back right now. And you don't have to say, I'm really sorry, I don't want to let anybody down. We don't owe anybody else an explanation for the decisions that we make about ourselves and about our lives. So I think that's another part of it, is that we don't have to feel guilty that we're not going to be on that additional committee, that we're not going to, you know, take part in that particular activity. Yeah, when you don't have, Stephen, that's a good point, when you don't feel like you have enough time for your own things. And, you know, that's challenging too. And, you know, when you do have a lot going on, I think you have to kind of, one of the things that you know, one of my mentors always talks about is, you know, you take a step. It may not be the next step that you had on the list, but you take a step. And, you know, we have so much that we want to get done around the house that sometimes it's crippling. And I just feel like I don't even want to start, because I know I don't have time to finish the task from start to finish. And that can paralyze us too. So this weekend in particular, what I did was say, okay, I'm just going to do, you know, whatever I can do in this block of time. And it still gave me that sense of accomplishment, like I was proceeding, like I was making some progress. And that was better than what I would have done, which was sit on the couch and do nothing and still feel bad about it, but also still have nothing done. Um, so I don't know if that helps or not, Stephen, but it is. It's hard when you have a lot going on in your life to fit everything in. And, you know, like I said, I think you have to, that's right, Cynthia, progress, not perfection, because nobody's perfect. And there's no such thing as a perfect life. We just have to make it work. So anyway, it's a short one tonight. You know, I just had those thoughts kind of running through my head, and I was pretty sure that I was not the only one, because I've had conversations with more than one friend that said, gosh, I'm just too busy to do this, or I'm just too busy to do that. And, you know, I've had that conversation with myself. So I think, you know, like Cynthia said, progress, not perfection, prioritize, um, be careful how we're talking to ourselves, to make sure that we're not making ourselves the last on the list, and that we're not making the people that are the most important to us the last on our list, and to not ever have to apologize for the decisions that we make to other people, because it's kind of like, you know, if you go off and do something that, you know, costs, you know, however amount of money, it's always like, well, are you providing the money? If you're not, then you don't get an opinion. So it's kind of like, you know, are you going to create more hours in my day or weeks in my year? If you're not, then, you know, it's really not. And you don't say that to people, but that's what you can think in your mind to kind of help you have that, yeah, the better self-talk, that they're not in charge of myself and my life. I am, and I don't have to apologize. So anyway, I hope that there was some kind of useful nugget in there. We sure seem to have a lot of conversation, so that's always a sign that maybe I'm not the only one having these thoughts and these ideas and these challenges. So I'm going to end there. I'll drop those links on those trackers where you can break out the activities that you're doing if you need help kind of getting a handle on maybe realigning some things in your life. I think those two trackers might help with that. Even if you don't necessarily keep them, a lot of times just looking at them to see, oh yeah, you know, you can get some ideas. So listen, I hope everybody has a great rest of their Monday and a great week. And I will talk to everybody next Monday. Bye-bye.